Okie dokie. For reasons I'll get into later, it's very, very late, and I'm gonna try and burn through this as quick as possible. First things first, before I get into the actual concert, uh, I don't know if it was like Buckethead's unmasked interview or whatever, but for some reason my old ran on Buckethead Pike's videos suddenly started getting a lot of views and a lot of comments and garnered a lot of controversy where some people agreed with what I said and other people said I'm an idiot. But you know what? I still stand by a lot of what I said in that video because pretend you don't know who Buckethead is. Just pretend it's just some random dude making those albums. Like, yes, like, the soloing is very impressive, and the fact that it's probably all improvised is really incredible, but uh, just looking at it objectively and critically, there's they're unstructured, they're way too long, they get way too repetitive when you just listen to them one after another, after another, after another, and like basically, I'm just personally, I'm just a fan of more like structured material myself. Um, and like after that interview came out where he's like, uh, I have a heart problem and I'm basically gonna die. I can see why he's the way he is and why he's releasing so many pikes because like he's trying to get as much musical material on record as he possibly can and tour as much as he possibly can before he dies because he thinks he's going to die. Because what I got from that interview he did was Buckethead is probably has some sort of like anxiety problems because like even interviews like not really like the John Freese interview, but like with Brain, like where he talks about how like Brian is just like scared, like I forget exactly how he phrased it, but you know stuff like that, and like I'm just other various sources like saying that he's very shy and introverted in real life. And I, about 2 years ago, ran into someone who claimed that his father met Buckethead's father and Buckethead, like, you know, personally, not as Buckethead, as Brian. And he said, what he said lined up with everything I've seen, like, from other professional players who've worked with him. Like, he's very shy in real life. He doesn't really talk much around other people he's not very familiar with. Um, and the his heart condition is an irregular heartbeat, and like, and he had a heart ablation to help it, and he takes meds for it. Like, an irregular heartbeat is obviously not nothing, but it's not really something that is a death sentence either. Like, it's not like the doctor's like, you have 12 months to live. Like, personally, I think Buckethead is going to be around for a while more. I think we're still, hopefully, still gonna get a lot more music from him and see him on a lot more tours, which is good because Buckethead's awesome and I really love him and I don't want him to die. Anyways, let's get to the show. So, doors open at 7. The show's supposed to start at 8. I, of course, get in line very early before doors open. So, again, at this show, similar to this is my third Buckethead show, by the way. The first show, I was able to get a front row spot. The second show and this show, I was more second row-ish, and I did take videos at this show. I tried to take videos of songs that I didn't already take videos for at the last show, and so basically there's some guy's fat head in the left third of the screen sometimes, and in a couple other videos there's some other guy's like tuft of hair because he was like a head shorter than me in front of me just like creeping its way into the bottom there. Anyways, we're just standing there. The show's supposed to start at 8. In like it's typical rock star fashion to show up to a show uh like within 15 minutes late. Like that's to be expected. And then we're just sitting there, and then it's 8:30 and we're like, okay, this is taking a while. It's 8:40 and we're like, is everything okay? Is something wrong? 8:43, we see past the curtain, the back door opens, and security escorts in a tall, hooded figure in all black wearing a white mask into the back room. And, like, it's Buckethead. And, like, he goes into the back room, and it takes them another stretch of time because 8:59 was when they finally got his guitar tech on stage with the guitar, because they had his amps and pedals all set up, but his guitar wasn't on stage. They bring out the guitar, quick plug it in, make sure everything works, plug in his iPod Nano. He doesn't have the Mac anymore. He reverted back to the iPod Nano for this tour, and it wasn't until I think 9:06, an hour and 6 minutes late, where Buckethead actually finally came out on stage. And I personally have not been to a show that started that late before. And I haven't seen Guns N' Roses, but from what I hear, Axl has a very bad track record with that, but I haven't seen them, and I'm not really that huge a fan of them, so I wouldn't know. So, anyways, the actual set list, this is like very approximate, and some things are probably out of order, and I'm probably missing stuff. This is just to help me like remember certain things as I go on a song-by-song basis. Starts with Big Sur Moon, great song. That was actually the song that introduced me to Buckethead. Second song was Jowls, and something I noticed during this song is, especially in the first set of this show, like Buckethead needed a lot of like more than normal, like little mistakes and screw ups. Like it happens every show. He'll make like a little thing, which is like to be expected when you're playing crazy guitar stuff and you're wearing that crazy costume and stuff, but like more than normal. I don't know if it's whatever was keeping him late, or if it was nerves, or having not like had a chance to warm up properly before the show. I don't know. But just something I pointed out. And like I said, in the second half of the show it got better. Gory Head Stump was next. The jam session during that song was surprisingly bluesy. Night of the Slunk, Nottingham Lace were in there. Not too much to say about those. Like, if you see them on YouTube, you'll get the impression. But next is an interesting one, Claymation Courtyard, because when I heard that pipe when it first came out, and I really, really liked it, and I'm like, oh man, Buckethead, if you played this live, that would be awesome. And he did, and my jaw, like, physically dropped, because I was like, no way, because, like, he normally doesn't play many Pike songs on his tours. He usually sticks more to the older material. But when I heard that, I was genuinely surprised, and, like, I really love that song. And luckily, that was one song I got on video, and I'm gonna put the links to the videos of the songs I took videos of in the description. The audio probably isn't super great. Like when I was there, it sounded good to me, like through my ears, but listening to the videos, it's a little more trebly, that's the word, so just keep that in mind. And like I've said in other videos, I wear earplugs when I go to concerts, so long story behind that, but I want to keep this moving along. Want Some Slaw was next, and in the middle of that, he played Hog Bitch Stomp, and I wasn't expecting this. Rhiannon, Fleetwood Mac cover. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. And Small World, like, it's a small world after all. Classic Buckethead covering Disney stuff. Alright, moving along. This stuff is probably out of order. So, unlike at the second show, the Yardmore show, where Buckethead just like did nunchucks and robot dance for 20 seconds and that was it. Like, he actually did the whole thing this time, which was much more satisfying, and he did the toy exchange, and the toy exchange was very interesting because a lot of people brought some things that he actually traded like big things with. Like, the guy right next to me had like a latex glove toy from Giant Robot, the TV series, and he gave it to Buckethead, and Buckethead is like, oh, 1 second, and he goes over back behind his amps, and he picks up this box like this big, and it's this TIE Fighter model or something, and he gives it to him, and it was crazy. And somebody, you'll see it in the videos too, because he puts it like right next to his amps for the remainder of the show. Somebody gave him like a garden decoration chicken thing that's like this big, and it's all white and ceramic looking, and like that was cool, and he kept that, and he gave them something big. And someone gave him this like crazy thing, like Ed Gein style, like masks, just like skin masks, just like sewn together. I don't know what it was. Like, it was obviously rubber, but yeah. So when he got to me, a couple things happened. First, I got a toy, but because I got toys at my first 2 shows, I already have them. I keep them locked up in a safe place somewhere. I gave, out of the spirit of generosity, I gave it to the person behind me because they were really reaching for it and they wanted something, and I'm like, you know what, I've gotten at least 2 other things from him before. You can have it. And they were like overjoyed. They were like, oh my god, thank you. And then right after, and he didn't do this to everyone, I think, but Buckethead started shaking people's hands. He didn't do it to everyone, but he did it to me, and for a moment there, we shook hands, and it was amazing. You see this hand right here? This has Buckethead's DNA on it. I'm never washing this hand again. I went to the bathroom after the show, didn't wash my hands, and I'm going to keep going like that. Because I need to get this hand to the lab, take a cotton swab in a petri dish, and find out what makes him tick. So yeah, we had a 20-minute intermission during which Buckethead's minion dude person with the crazy mask comes out and did some magic tricks, like have a green stalk and then makes flowers come out, and then he takes one of the petals, sneezes it out, it turns into an egg. I forget exactly what he did, but he had like a Pandora's box thing where he put the egg in the box, opened it, it was empty, closed it, opened it again, and there was chicken in there. And like a rubber chicken. And when he got off stage, he left a fake finger on the floor, and when the guitar tech or whatever came around on the floor, people were like, hey, pick up the finger. I don't have that on video, but it was funny. Anyways, on to actually he played a couple other songs after the toy exchange, and then there was the intermission, and now we're in the second set, which I'm confusing myself now because I tried figuring this all out. So, Jordan was an unknown song, actually. Well, I personally don't know the song that he played first. Then Jordan. Then I wasn't expecting this, the Inner World and the New Innocence, which if you look at my video that I took, everyone around me is like, no fucking way, I can't believe he's playing the song. So, that was awesome, and I like how it wasn't like the live versions he did with Praxis. I like how this one was more mellow, and like I actually, for a while, I preferred the studio version of that song off the Praxis album to the previous live versions, but I like this live version better, one, because it's not as long, and also it's more subdued, and it's not like as explosive at the end. Like, I don't know, it works for me better. Buckethead's Toy Store, the big thing there was, instead of the third like jam session right before the clean guitar part, he, instead of jamming there, he played the giant robot theme, which is awesome as always, because it's an awesome theme and Buckethead makes it sound awesome. And something I wasn't expecting, the Ghosts of Broken Eggs from Pike 101. And I like that Pike. That's a very bluesy sounding song with that allows Buckethead to do some very saucy sounding soloing that he wouldn't normally do in any other context in his music. So that was a treat. There was actually right before Dawn Appears, he had this like blow up doll, and he like tossed it into the audience, and then he plays like this instrumental, like it wasn't Wondering, it was something else, but he did play Wondering at this show, where it was like this clean guitar, super emotional thing, and then juxtaposed by everyone in the audience like tossing around this like human-sized blow-up doll, which, I don't know, it was just weird and crazy and ridiculous. Anyways, Dawn Appears. I really love A Real Diamond in the Rough, Shadows Between the Sky, and Captain EO's Voyage, and I really wish Buckethead would play more stuff from those albums, because I really like the general vibe those three albums have. The Kill Switch song, he did let the audience hit the kill switch at the first show, and actually I'm getting ahead of myself, because there was a song from Pike 274, the most recent Pike, the first song on that album. He played a shortened version of it live, and that is where my camera ran out of battery. So, I only have the first 2 minutes of that song, but it's better than nothing, so what the heck, I'm just gonna upload the partial version of it. Which was really cool to see live, because that was the first Pike in a while that made me actually step back and go, wow, those riffs actually sound really cool. Like it reminded me of stuff like Project Little Man and the Molt Rail Part 2 and stuff like that. The Kill Switch song was after that. It wasn't Metamatic like it was 2 years ago. It was a different song that he had people use the kill switch for, and actually, rewinding back to Jordan, there was two measures where he stuck the guitar out and let one person hit the kill switch for Jordan. But he let everyone in the front row hit it during that other song, and I got a chance to do it. I have the first time I did it on video, but not the second time because, like I said, I ran out of battery. Soothsayer ended the second set, and then there was an encore, which I wasn't really expecting, because I've never really seen Buckethead do an encore before. There were two songs in the encore, Botanist and some other song that I did not recognize. It wouldn't surprise me if it was something from the Pikes. And that reminds me, the mosh pits. Because the first two Buckethead shows I went to, there wasn't really any moshing. And I don't know if it was just like the crowd of people there or the lower security or what, but there were 4 times where people started moshing during the show. Like, first 2 times were, I forget the songs, but the third song during Soothsayer, they were moshing. And then 4th time, Botanist, they started moshing again. And I don't know, that was just weird to me. But yes, because I am doing this an hour later than I anticipated, I just wanted to get that all out of the way, and anything I forgot to mention is in the description. And actually, during the show, like after like the 3rd or 4th song or something like that, like when it was like when there was nothing coming out of the speakers, so he could possibly hear me. Like, I actually shouted to Buckethead, like, "Your heart is stronger than ever. You'll live forever, Bucket." Like, just a little something to, I hope, cheer him up and, like, not make him think he's gonna die. Because, like, personally, I don't think he's on the verge of death. Like, yes, he does have like a very considerable health risk, but he, just based on what I've heard other people say about him, he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, physically he seems to be in pretty good shape, and like he takes care of himself well enough. Like, I think Buckethead will still be around for at least another decade, and whenever he comes to my area again, I'm gonna go see him and support him. If I hear a Pike I like, I'll get the signed version to support him that way, whatever it takes. And yeah, I haven't really been listening to a whole lot of music in general lately, but you know, I'm still a big fan of Buckethead, and yeah, there's not really much I can think of to say right now, so I'm probably gonna end it there.